So, in 1930, the first World Cup was held in Uruguay. Back then, only 13 teams participated because most European teams couldn't make it. The reason was the long boat trip to Uruguay. A couple teams also withdrew, and Egypt missed their ship. The USA reached the semifinal, which was their best result to date, and in the final, the finalists Uruguay and Argentina couldn't decide on a match ball, so they played with a different one in both halves. After the first half, Argentina led 2-1 using their ball, but in the second half, Uruguay pulled it back, winning the World Cup with 4-2 after switching to their ball. In 1934, the World Cup was held in Italy and was used by Mussolini's fascist regime as pure propaganda. Some referees were suspended by their home federations after the tournament due to suspiciously favoring Italy. It was also the only tournament where the defending champion Uruguay didn't show up, due to boycotting the event as retaliation for many EU teams that didn't show up during 1930. The player Luis Monti made history as he played for Argentina in 1930 and then for Italy in 1934. He is the only player that has played for two different teams in World Cup finals. In the end, Italy won at home 2-1 against Czechoslovakia. In 1938, the next World Cup was held in France, and while the Austrian team had qualified, they were annexed by Nazi Germany, and several Austrian players were absorbed into the German team. In the end, Italy won against Hungary in the final 4-2 and was the first team to ever defend their title. The Italian team was under tons of pressure from Mussolini, motivating them for the win. The years following, the Second World War happened, so 1942 and 1946, no World Cups happened. 1950 was the first World Cup ever held in Brazil. England had their most embarrassing result ever, losing to an amateur USA team. The goal was shot by Joe Gaetiens, who was a part-time dishwasher. In England, many thought that the 0-1 was a typo, and the actual result was 10-1 for England. In the end, Uruguay won 2-1 against Brazil, winning their second World Cup. In 1954, the World Cup was held in Switzerland and had the most goals of any World Cup ever, with a point average of 5.38. There was also the Battle of the Barn, a brutal game between Hungary and Brazil that ended in a dressing room brawl. In the final, West Germany had the biggest upset ever, winning 2-1 against Hungary, who had previously thrashed them 8-3 in the group stage. This ended their 31 winning streak. West Germany had a secret weapon, as the Adidas founder equipped Germany with revolutionary changeable studs, perfect for the rain-soaked pitch. In 1958, the World Cup was held in Sweden. It was the only World Cup where all four British nations participated: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Just Fontaine scored a legendary 13 goals in one tournament, which is a record that still stands today. There was also this 17-year-old kid named Pelé, who scored twice for Brazil, winning it 4-2 against Sweden. He's still the youngest player to score in a World Cup final to this day. In 1962, Chile almost couldn't host the World Cup due to the 1960 Valdivia earthquake, which was at a 9.5, making it the strongest earthquake ever recorded. In the Battle of Santiago, Chile and Santiago were so violent that the police had to intervene 3 times. The BBC introduced its broadcast as the most stupid, appalling, disgusting, and disgraceful exhibition of football possibly in the history of the game. In the end, Brazil beat Czechoslovakia 2-1, winning back-to-back World Cups. In 1966, the World Cup was hosted by England, and the trophy was stolen 1 week before the tournament. It was found 1 week later, wrapped in newspaper, under a bush by a dog named Pickles. North Korea shocked the world, beating Italy 1-0 and leading against Portugal 3-0 in the quarterfinal, before Esbio turned the game around by scoring 4 goals. The Wembley goal in the England-West Germany final was the most controversial goal of all time, as opinions were split on it being a goal or not. The decision favored England, tipping the game in their favor, which led them to win the game 4-2. This ignited a feud between the fans that lasted for decades. The World Cup 1970 in Mexico was the first World Cup to be broadcasted in color. Substitutions, yellow and red cards debuted in that World Cup. The game of the century, Italy beating West Germany 4-3 in the semifinal, had 5 goals in extra time, and the German player Beckenbauer playing with a dislocated shoulder, his arm in a sling. Brazil won the Jules Rimet Trophy permanently for their 3rd title, winning 4-1 against Italy. It was stolen in 1983 in Rio and melted down, so it no longer exists. The World Cup in 1974 was held in West Germany. It had an infamous match in the group stage between East and West Germany, where East Germany won 1-0. It was the only ever football match between 2 Germanys at a World Cup. The loser, West Germany, went on to become the world champion, beating Netherlands 2-1 and winning their 2nd World Cup, after the Netherlands had scored a goal through a penalty in minute 1 before a German player had ever even touched the ball. So in 1978, the World Cup was hosted in Argentina, and it was another World Cup hosted by military dictatorship. The main reason was a desperate need for propaganda from the regime. There was a suspicious 6-0 against Peru, in which Argentina needed to win by 4 to reach the final, which they accomplished. There were many rumors of political pressure. In the end, Argentina beat Netherlands 3-1, winning their home World Cup. So this first half of the video has already taken me quite a bit, so if you want to see part 2, just type it in the comments.